and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian families collection. I've just had a super exciting package arrive. It was this item here, which is the Tiger Adventure bike, or words to that effect. This set has just been released in Japan in July of 2026, and it features the father tiger character, who I'm really excited to take a closer look at, as well as this really cool bike. So far in the range we only have one other tiger character, and it's this little standing baby here. He was part of the Adventure series blind bags, the newest series that have come out in Japan, and they are related, but at the moment we only have father and son, so I'm really hoping that we do get more family members. Taking a look at the packaging, we can see it's got a little bit of a different theme. It's kind of this cool adventure theme. There's like some almost like hieroglyph symbols down here, kind of vine. Obviously a very interesting background. We'll see that better when we get it out of the box, but it looks kind of deserty or canyony. Here you can see that he has a little hat and glasses that can be put on him as well. And then here it shows these satchels have this kind of gold in them, which we'll take a closer look at. Some more tropical leaves here. On the top of the box we can see more of those kind of ancient temple-y kind of symbols. And some more kind of tropical jungly flora and fauna than what we're used to seeing. It's still got the kind of wood effect, but again that vine is stretching around the side. On this side we get a little bit of bio about him. His name is Miles, and I believe the family name is Tiggles. I'll Google translate this and come back to it in a minute. On the back of the box we have our usual warnings. You can see here the 2026 marker. Nice setup image here showing a bit more of that background. And then here are the pieces that the set comes with. So obviously the figure, his helmet, his goggles and his bike. And then the bit I was most excited to see, that this is a stand rather than being attached to the bike, so you can have it on or off the bike, which is great to see because it probably means that the wheels can turn. So running this little story through Google Translate, roughly it comes out as Miles, the adventurous tiger father, travels on his motorcycle all around the world. He sees the most scenic and beautiful landscapes when he's traveling, and every time he returns to the Sylvanian village, the children are captivated by his travel stories. They sometimes ask him, "Why are you going on all these trips, Miles?" And he would reply, "There's things you can't see in photos or in books," so he likes to go and see them for himself. Miles's eyes are always fixed on something far into the distance. So that helps give us a little bit of context about Miles's character. I also love the name Miles. Obviously here in the UK we use miles for travelling, like miles per hour, so quite a punny name even if it was unintentional. Now let's go ahead and get him open and take a closer look at all the pieces. Everything was very securely kind of taped, strapped in there, so I've just taken it out off camera, but here's what I mean about that detailed background. Very kind of deserty. There's even a cactus over here and some kind of deserty trees and grass. First up, let's take a look at Miles. This is obviously how he was posed in the box sitting on the motorcycle, but if we straighten him out and twist his head to face us, you can see he's got this really cute outfit on. So the first thing I noticed was his tail. I really love the way this is kind of striped. It's the kind of pipe cleaner tail that we're used to seeing, and it's obviously posable because of that. I love how they kind of had it posed like it was flying in the wind. It is a slightly different colour to his fur colour. It's more obvious in real life than it is on camera, which is interesting, but I don't think it detracts too much. He has the same kind of markings as his son, including the cute little hearts on the back of the ears. And then his outfit, he has this really cool scarf that kind of blows in the wind. I really like that. That just attaches with Velcro around the back here, so you could remove it off if you wanted to. And then he looks a little bit more like he's ready to just kind of wander around town. He then has this jacket piece, which I think is a separate piece. Yes, it is. I won't take it off because it looks like it's quite tightly fitted on there. But it has like these patches and stitching details printed on it, which is interesting. The buttons are also printed on as well, and the quality of the fabric is kind of silky, not the nicest feeling fabric, but I think it looks pretty good. He then also has a white shirt on, and then these kind of denim, they're not actually denim, but denim look trousers with turned up cuffs at the bottom. The cuffs have kind of this fluffy material. Again, they're kind of this silky printed on material, so not the nicest feeling of quality, but I think they look pretty effective. They do look like denim at least. His outfit is a one piece, and there's kind of Velcro just in the back there, the usual kind of construction we're used to seeing on the dad's outfits. Let's just pop his scarf back on, so he's fully dressed to go on his bike. Next up, let's take a look at his little helmet. So this is brown with these two white stripes on, and then a black kind of visor piece. It has spaces for his ears to go, and it's all black on the underneath. I like the details on this. There's quite a few colours which make it look really nice and detailed. And it, of course, fits him like a glove and looks very, very cute. Really like that. We then also have his little goggles. These are an older style of goggles, and I really like these. There's no plastic in for the lenses, but the other details on it are quite nice. Again, you've got black and silver, and this is a nice metallic silver they've used here on the buckles as well, and then a brown strap that goes around the head and just black on the back. On the box, oops, I've just knocked him flying. Sorry, Miles. On the box, it shows you how to put them on, so you undo the strap and then tighten it around his head whilst they're on him. So let's try and do that. There's like a little notch on here that you can just pull apart. This is a kind of pliable plastic as well. And there we are. They fit on quite tightly if they're in kind of the proper position over his eyes. So I do imagine that if you left these on, they would dent the flocking. So it might be something you don't want to leave on all the time if that is something that bothers you. But then his little hat sits on as well, and it kind of sits almost on top of them. And that all fits together really nicely, and he looks adorable, absolutely ready to go biking. Of course, it's quite difficult to go biking without your bike, so let's take a look at that next. The wheels do indeed turn, including this back one here, so that's really good to see. However, the handlebars do not turn, which is a little bit disappointing. You can't actually turn this part of the bike, but it's still got quite a lovely amount of detail on it. So you've obviously got black on the tyres and then copper here in the rims. We've got silver and blacks and yellows. The headlight is nicely moulded in there. There's a lovely amount of moulding on the kind of speedometers and this part here. We have brakes which are actually pliant, so you can kind of almost pull them. The whole kind of handlebar section is pretty pliant. There's brown on the handles, yellow on the body of the bike, good amount of moulding. The seat is black and has a different texture as well. Looks kind of leathery in its texture. More details on the back wheel with the chain. Brake light is actually red, and these tail lights are, it's not showing so well on camera, but they are a different yellow to the body of the bike. We've then got the exhaust and more details around this side. The details on this are incredible, a lot better than a lot of things we've been seeing lately, so really happy to see that. It is a shame that this part doesn't turn, and it also cannot stand up on its own. It's not got a kickstand or anything like that from what I can see, so unless you're going to use the cloud stand, it will struggle to stand up on its own. What I didn't realise is that the saddlebags are a separate piece, so you can have them either on the bike or off. They have less detail on them, but they are nicely moulded, so you get 2 saddlebags, and then within them are kind of these gold treasures, which I hope he has stolen back from the bad guys and is off to return them to whoever they belong to, rather than being a thief. Though if he was a thief, PC Bobby Roberts would finally actually have some crime to solve in Sylvania, so he might be quite excited about that. You can see the moulding on the 2 sides is different. This one kind of has a cup in it, and this one kind of has a crown. And these just kind of click into place to close. And then they can just sit on this back part of the bike here. And obviously you can have it with or without. I think it looks pretty good with them on there though, just gives that extra bit of detail. This is standing because I have propped it up against Miles. It is not freestanding. But to make it freestanding, there is this cloud piece. So you can see it's got a notch here for where you can slot the bike into it. It's just hollow on the inside and just white all over in a kind of cloud of dust, like he's roaring away. And the back wheel just sits in it like so. And that, oh, I've done that off camera, sorry. The back wheel just sits into it like so, and it holds the bike up on its own. That's all the pieces that the set comes with, but let's try and sit Miles on it and see if he will kind of free sit on the bike with the stand. So it's a little bit uneven. I think this is not the best texture because I'm on this kind of artificial grass, but you can get him to stand up, and I imagine on a solid footing it would be a little bit easier. But that looks pretty effective, especially with the background of him zooming off. Very, very cool. I have a couple of other kind of motorbike-esque items, so let's have a very quick look at those. This is really struggling on this grassy texture. So the item that I have that is most similar to this in terms of design is the Flair Era motorcycle and sidecar. So this is the motorcycle from that set. You can see it's pretty similar in its design. Instead of saddlebags, it has this kind of opening part on the back which you could store bits in. Stickers, you can move the handlebars on this one. And then it has a space here for this lovely side cart to just clip in, like so, and that's what gives it its stability. And obviously room for another figure there. You can open up this part for more storage. This is a really lovely piece, a lot bigger than this newer one. You can see here just the absolute size discrepancy between them. This one seems absolutely massive by comparison. This one also came with some helmet and goggle accessories. So I'll grab Grandpa Mulberry, who you can see here is wearing the goggles and helmet. This is fashioned by an old style kind of leather helmet. So it's not got as many details on as this one, but it does look realistic to the kind of vintage helmet it's portraying. And that fits on there. We then also have these goggles. The elastic on mine has warped a little bit or stretched out, so that's why they're a little bit loose, but you can see they're the same kind of design. These ones do, however, have acrylic in them. He then also has kind of racing style clothes and scarf in a kind of similar vein to the ones we're seeing here. They look like they could start a kind of bikers club, which would be really cute. pop his little helmet and goggles on too, just to complete the look. And then the other set that really reminded me of this one was this Easy Buy Koala Mother set. So here's the bike. It's obviously in a lighter colourway and it's more of a moped style rather than a motorbike. But it's definitely got some similar design elements on it and has a saddlebag as well. Obviously a lot less detail on this one because it is an Easy Buy product, but the handlebar on the front does turn and it has this little stopper so that it can stand upright on its own, and it also has this at the back which can hook on to other items but also work kind of a little bit like a stand. The Koala Mother has a helmet, less detail but not dissimilar in the design, and that is specifically moulded to fit over her particular ears. But she can join our little biker club too. Very cute with all their various different bikes. And I just thought it was interesting how they've kind of changed over the years. Obviously these two are a lot closer in size than this massive one from before. But I think that brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this brand new set with me, and then also having a look at some of these older ones as well. Let me know what you think of this set down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.